Lap number 2, Alvaro Bautista already streaking half a second clear, but now it's the fight for second Ducati between Axel Bassani, the independent man on the Moto Corsa bike, and the factory rider Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Axel Bassani comes through. He's outbraked himself so slightly into turn 1. Rinaldi's going to have the cutback to try and get around the outside, but it's too far to go on turn 3. Rinaldi with the cutback slams into the side of Bassani. Bassani then relegated back down to 3rd position, gesticulating wildly at his fellow Ducati man, who's now back ahead of him in P2. Meanwhile, in the background of the shot there, Razgatlioglu getting down the inside of Andrea Locatelli in cleaner fashion for 5th position.
Yeah, and if Bassani's upset about that, he's going to have to deal with Jonathan Rea now as well. And for Bassani and Rinaldi, we know that they're both fighting each other for their futures. We saw that Bassani runs in a bit hot into turn 1. It then pushes you offline through turns 2 and off 3. So Rinaldi knows he's got that extra momentum, and that's why he's trying to put his bike down there. It's one of those situations that can happen around that layout of the track through that section.
Yes, that's one of the things that makes that layout such a great one. Bassani going in deep, but then slightly offline, and Rinaldi capitalise on it. But Axel Bassani certainly faster at this stage of the race than Michael Ruben Rinaldi. Rinaldi probably conserving
He's
some
going to gas it up
but
here.
he can't afford to do too much there, and down goes Michael Ruben Rinaldi, trying to defend 2nd position against Axel Bassani. The Ducati on Ducati fight, and it's Rinaldi who loses out into the gravel trap.
Yeah, Bassani's not putting his bike into that position to then step out of it after what happened at turn 3. That was inevitable from the second that they enter turn 10.
Well, Bassani going for the inside line, makes his way through, and now has a golden opportunity to make massive strides in his advantage over Michael Ruben Rinaldi in the championship. 23 points, remember, separated them coming into the 4th round of the season, a quarter of the way through the campaign. Bassani is fighting for that factory ride as Jonathan Rea swerves to the inside to try and defend against Toprak Razgatlioglu for 3rd position. He does so successfully. It's Bautista who leads, but now by over a second ahead of Axel Bassani. And ladies and gentlemen, this is now a race for second.
Yeah, you don't quite catch it there, but you could see it happening from a mile away first, and that's actually what's going to work a little bit against Bassani, regardless of what happens earlier in the lap. You knew that it was coming as well, and certainly for Rinaldi, he'll get his way back to the pits, and he'll live to fight another day tomorrow. And we've seen the fight between Bassani and Rinaldi for that factory seat over the course of the last year, and one of those situations where Bassani now needs to make sure he's able to get the podium. This is the instance through turn 3. You can see here that we don't quite catch it, but through turn 1, Bassani's ran in a little bit deep. This is a situation where Rinaldi's just trying to stay down the inside, and it's almost like it's inevitable through there. This one through 11, though.
Do you know what? From the other view, it looks a little bit different, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's one of those situations that you knew it's going to happen, but sometimes whenever you're racing, but I think that for Bassani there, it's a bad look after what happened earlier in the lap.